Movie number 14 on the road to 1,000 was Materialists, the Celine Song follow up to Past Lives. Not a sequel, obviously, but her second feature film, and the second one to involve a love triangle. So it had that going for it. There's consistency brewing. It's funny because her husband was the one who wrote Challengers, which if you're watching this, you probably already know it. So it's like between them, they've written 3 movies, and all 3 of them involve like a love triangle kind of story. So I'm really excited to see when they don't do that, but there's part of me that just hopes for their entire careers they just make love triangle movies, because that would also be pretty entertaining. Materialists, I was a big Past Lives fan. I saw Past Lives the weekend it came out in what was mostly an empty theater at the Alamo Drafthouse, and was crying my eyes out, in love with the film. I think Celine Song's like a director that we need to pay attention to, and I'm excited for everything she's going to do in the future. So I was super excited for Materialists. Another one that I missed in theaters because of the new baby, so was excited to catch it. It's just okay, solid. I kind of feel the same way about F1 that I feel about Materialists, which is funny because there's such different movies with such different scopes and scales. But this just also felt like something like a little bit safe. It's like Past Lives was so personal and so deep and so thoughtful and reflective. This is also literary in the sense that Celine's really focusing in on a theme, which is this idea of materialism and having the main character, Lucy, torn between a future with Pedro Pascal's character that is material driven, or a future with Chris Evans' character that's a lot more love driven and romance driven, and really being able to explore those concepts in the modern era through that lens. I know there are people that are watching this movie. I've been seeing like chatter about this movie, and there are people that are talking about it more realistically in a grounded way, and wanting something that's a little bit more almost like a Devil Wears Prada movie where it's more story focused. It's like Celine's not story focused in the sense that she's making the Taming of the Shrew that's to entertain the masses. She's making something that's a little more of a balance between like poppy, but also deep and reflective, and looking at the world and life and challenging people to think, how materialistic am I? So there's almost a performative aspect to this, a play. I think Celine Song was actually a playwright before getting into film, and that's what this feels like to me. It's a little bit of that balance between, I'm making a movie that I want people to watch and enjoy and have it be kind of a comfort film for people, but I'm also trying to explore something. It's like genre, like people that make genre stories. You have some people that just like lean into it and are like, I'm just going to write a Clive Cussler military story, or John Grisham military story, and they're just pure genre schlock. But then you have people that are like, oh, I'm going to write a genre story and try and elevate it just a little bit, which is what we've seen with horror recently. And, there's the big debate between, do you like elevated horror? Do you like a more classic B horror, like I Know What You Did Last Summer kind of horror, versus The Witch, The Vitch, however you're supposed to say it. But it feels like Materialists is trying to do this middle ground between 10 Things I Hate About You and Past Lives, and I think it's mostly successful. I enjoyed it. I liked it. I love how Celine Song frames things and explores things, and how patient she is with shots and editing, and just letting the characters really breathe. There's a world building in this film that's cool. It feels maybe a little, not one-dimensional, but a little simplistic in some ways, in terms of just like, and now this happens, and now this happens, and now this happens. Just action, reaction. Almost, I guess, a little basic is what I'm trying to say, where Past Lives felt really deep. And I guess that's something that happens quite often. With the first feature, artists tend to spend a lot of time perfecting it. And once it's out the door, they have a shorter window to do the next thing. So you really don't have the same room. There's less pressure. There's more pressure with the second one, that you need to get it done not only on a time crunch, but it has to compete with the first thing that you did. So usually the first thing is a lot more carefully crafted. And the second thing is them trying their best within the new system that they're working in. So I still think Materialists is solid, but where Past Lives to me was a my favorites 10 out of 10 movie. And just to clear, people always get weird when you call something a 10 out of 10. For me, 10 out of 10 is just a threshold of how much I liked something. If it crosses to that level of like, I really love this, it's a 10 out of 10 for me. That doesn't mean it's perfect. That doesn't mean there aren't flaws. Like Dodgeball to me is a 10 out of 10 movie, same way that There Will Be Blood is a 10 out of 10 movie for me. It's just that level of enjoyability. Even though I would never, if I was doing a more objective ranking, like the quality of performance, shot selection, editing, like all the things, like in Dodgeball, it would be like a 5 out of 10. And There Will Be Blood would still be a 10 out of 10. But just my personal response to films. So Past Lives was a 10 out of 10. Materialists was enjoyable, I think. So not like a 5 out of 10 is neutral for me. 6 out of 10's positives outweigh the negatives. This was enjoyable. So 7 out of 10. But I was hoping for, 8, 9, 10. So I'm still happy with it, but it has me being like, okay, on to the next thing. Let's see what Celine does next with this under her belt. And I'm glad it's done well. I'm seeing now as I look around my phone, $20 million budget, $85 million box office. So she's on a great upward trend in terms of delivering winners. So we'll see what she gets to do next. And I'm very curious what it's going to be. But that's it for this one. I'll go make another one. You may notice I've been wearing the same shirt for 3 of these in a row, and that's just because I'm recording them back to back to back. I've watched a lot of movies without recording YouTube videos, so I'm trying to catch up all in one go. So thanks for watching. Till next time, lights, camera. See ya.